Hello!
Hey!
Welcome to the JagCorner. I'm Will Thorup, and this is my brother,
Bryce.
and we are here again to talk Atari and Jag stuff. If this is your first time, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. So,
Yep.
We haven't talked a whole lot about what we're going to talk about. We're going to go over our social media streams. I've been posting a lot more on social media, and so we're going to be using that. But Bryce has found a few things to talk about, and we'll let him start, and
Sure.
and we'll leapfrog. That's what we'll do.
One of
those things.
phrases. All right, switch over to my desktop here. Okay, yeah, we got the right thing up there. So first thing we wanted to touch on was the Lynx Programming Competition 2020 here on itch.io. Just wrapped up this last week, and yeah. So we had some interesting entries here. So there's 6 of them total, and I've already played through a few of these. Let's see here. The only one I haven't tried yet is Jump 2, XUMP2, and Asteroid Chasers. I'm assuming that has something to shoot them up. Yeah, anyway.
The only ones I've played are Minimal and Shump 2, if that's how you say it.
Okay, so...
Shump 2 it's just a grid puzzler where if you go on a tile, it breaks apart, and you have to move. It's a puzzle game. It's a grid. It's a tile puzzle game.
Pretty cool entries. We're going to be playing those later while Will's doing his art stuff, so you can take a look at those. Yeah, and we'll have the link to this in the description. Any other thoughts on that? Just thought it's interesting to showcase, these competitions as they come up.
Oh, it's really cool. Atari Gamer, I know he's pretty prominent in the community. He's the one that hosted it last year, and they had something like 10 entries last year, really good entries, or more. Might have been more than that. And so it's awesome that he's putting it together. We're grateful that he's willing to handle that. And then I just noticed Retro HQ is on here as well, and it looks like one of the prizes is one of his Lynx SD card readers, which are awesome. And he's recently done a redesign on that with the 3D printing, and I don't know if he's exporting the 3D printing because before he was doing it internally. So the guy who's putting that together, just a quick aside about these SD card readers. His name's Saint. He's been doing a lot of stuff. That's his handle anyways. And I know a lot of people have been frustrated on the forums that he hasn't finished the Jaguar GD game drive. I think that's what he's calling it, the Jaguar game drive. And but he deals with health issues and some other stuff that I don't know any details about that. But he's been trying to offload a lot of the workload so he can just focus on developing it and then having other people actually build it and sell it. And that's been taking a while because of the whole pandemic thing that happened right when he was doing that. And so,
well, and I got to imagine making an SD reader for the Lynx is probably, I'm no expert, but probably less complex than making one for the Jag.
Yeah. He's trying to do a lot more with the Jag too, like the CD support and stuff too, which I don't think he has yet. He has a start on that, but it isn't finished yet. And
so that's a question. I know you'd mentioned this before. Do you have to have a CD drive to have that support, or does it literally emulate it?
I think it's emulating the BIOS and everything.
Because is there hardware on the Jag CD? Gosh,
I don't know how that... Oh, I think what they're doing is just emulating the hardware calls. So, for example, loading a ROM and stuff like that. So, so he's just emulating assembler calls with the GD-ROM. That's all that they're doing.
Gotcha.
And whatever memory is needed to buffer things is all done on the card as well. So he has hardware on there.
Basically a mini Jag CD.
Which is cool because it makes you wonder... Basically, he does have, like you said, a mini Jag thing, a Jag CD, emulate almost a hybrid hardware software emulation, but it makes you wonder what else you could do with that extra hardware on the cart, what other pseudo peripherals you could make.
Yeah. Well, we need to see. Lee76 here says Time Loop looks innovative. So I just played that. That was actually the last one I played before we got on the stream. It's pretty cool. It's a fun little idea. It reminds me a little bit. I mean, the concept of the time shifting. Reminds me of, what's that game called? It was an indie game. Had the little Irish guy. Oh, gosh, I can't remember. I'll have to see if I can find it. Anyway, it's an idea that's been played on before. I like the sports aesthetic of it, and that it's just you playing against previous versions of yourself. I'll show you here later.
Are there more screenshots of that?
I think so. Let me take a look. Animated deal. But yeah, basically you start out as one guy, and all you do is you kick it into the goal.
Oh, and then you play it
and
resets.
And then it pops up a red guy that represents the previous play. And so most of them are just running around random, but it makes it crazy and hectic.
That's
as
cool.
you can see in the little GIF they got here. So
that there's enough memory to handle all that.
I just wonder if he has any upper limit on it, or if you could...
How many copies?
Yeah, really, just push it until the Lynx just crashes. It's just like, nope, too much.
That's really cool.
Anyway, yeah, that was fun.
I definitely need to play that later.
Let's see. Anything else you want to talk about on that?
No, I think we're good on that. If you're going to be going through some of those games, that'll be awesome.
So for me, that was about it for the interesting things. I guess you want me to get my random thing yet, or do you want to touch on some other stuff
I was
first?
just going to look at... so Clint, he's actually in the chat right now.
Yeah.
I assume he's still in the chat. Jean-Paul, hello from Montreal. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the...
Braid, that was the game. Thanks.
Braid.
So,
I still haven't played that game.
It's interesting. It came out back in that indie renaissance, like back in 2012.
Is that a Supergiant?
Back then. What's that?
Is that Supergiant that did that?
I don't remember.
Same people that did Transistor and...
Might have been. But yeah, it came out back then. So it was just one of those games. I know I've played it. I didn't get really far into it, like Super Meat Boys and all. The only one I really got into of that era was FTL, which, if any of you have ever played Sundog on the ST, you can tell the aesthetic was pulled straight from that game. It's really cool. That's a game I still come to on a regular basis and play. So it's a great one.
Good time waster.
You want me to switch over to your desktop here?
Yeah, switch over to me really quick. So we've been posting more on social media, so like and follow and all the stuff you always hear on live streams. I'm not going to dig into the shilling for oneself too much, but what we're going to talk about is a lot of what will be posted on the social media. So if you want a heads up on what we're going to talk about, so you can interact with us a little bit more, that'd be awesome. But a few things I wanted to point out. Clint Thompson. This is coming back. We started this. Clint, he just released a homebrew, and let me find the name of it. Oh, maybe we haven't posted it. It hasn't been. It's in the queue for being posted, I think. Let me jump on AtariAge really quick. It's there. Forum. It's basically a glorified random number generator. That's all it is. But it's Powerball. It's a Powerball number generator. And the reason why he put it together is apparently in magazines, and he'll be a lot more familiar with this than me or you, but magazines that give you assembler code or basic code for 8-bit systems and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, where you'd type it in by hand.
Yeah, apparently it was common to have some sort of random number Powerball generator, essentially.
That's a good good intro to programming.
Yeah, and
exercise.
And so it's an interesting piece of software for the Jag because I don't know what use it really has except for generating random numbers if you're doing some sort of Powerball gambling thing. I'm not too much into gambling myself, but it's really cool to see something like this. It's very well put together. We may pull it up eventually and actually show it. I wish he had some screenshots here of the closest thing is this right here in the newspaper. But that's basically what the game looks like. It's literally a few Powerballs and they light up with this circle, this cool neon circle around it. It's well put together and the audio is really good too. He did a good job with the audio. It's very simple, very straightforward. There's also some options for changing the speed that the numbers show up, and there's a couple more options. Oh, there's a region option, so you can change the language or something, or maybe there's different rules. Maybe Clint can clarify the region thing, why he even has region selection for something like that, because they're just random numbers. Anyways, really cool. Yeah. There's Clint Singh, and then just a few more mentions here. Songbird, a week or so ago, announced that they were going to do I believe his name's Carl. Carl got the rights for Battlemorph to publish it again. And he put out a survey. I think we've talked about this a little bit already, actually, now I think about it. Maybe it was off stream, I can't remember. But they did a survey asking, do you want a soundtrack of the music, which I think it has a pretty darn good soundtrack, especially for a Jaguar game. It's good. It's not Tempest 2000, but it's still really good.
It's up there like with iWar.
Yeah, like
iWar.
And on a separate CD, so it's just a CD soundtrack. And he also asked, do people want a cart version? And so for people who don't know, this has been done before, and I think Carl did this with Iron Soldier 2. So he figured out all the calls that go to Cinepack videos, and he pulled out all the calls for all the cinematics, for all the FMVs. Pulled all that out so he could make a cart version of Iron Soldier 2.
Oh, yeah.
And so he asked everybody, do you want a cart version of Battlemorph that pulls out all the cinematics? And the sad part about FMVs back in the 90s is usually the cinematics were useless in terms of story and connecting with the story. So anyways, but yeah, different rules for lottery to cover UK. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So I'm not familiar with lottery or this type of gambling, so I assume there are different rules though, but just different traditions there. Anyways, if you want to keep caught up on Songbird stuff, he does have a YouTube channel, which I think he started recently. Go ahead and subscribe to that. I am subscribed, so don't think I'm not subscribed. I'm just in an incognito window, so it's separate from my accounts and stuff. But yeah, subscribe to Songbird. It seems like Songbird gets something new out almost every year. One or two things.
He's been consistent over the years, right?
Yeah,
he's
really
old homebrew guy.
He just did a big update on his. Oh, that's another thing. His website. So if you go to his website, you'll see here, and I assume this is just the blog portion of his website, but Raiders of the Lost ROM. And I think he just finished up on August 13th with this, but it's like 7 parts where he's digging into the ROM, and he goes in on how to identify when certain artwork is displayed or when music is called, and how to hack in more music, more sound effects, different graphics. It goes into a deep dive. I've only read like 2 or 3 of these, but it's really cool how much detail he goes into hacking these ROMs that are already built, and because he doesn't have source code, and figuring out how to hack them so he can add more stuff to them, essentially.
Modify it.
It's really cool.
Huh.
And I think the game is Quadramania that he's hacking together, which is a puzzle game. Anyways, really cool. I enjoy that. Let's jump over to, you had a random thing, right?
Yeah. Open my desktop here. So yeah, we were just looking around for, I don't even remember how I came across this, but there's this Wikipedia page called List of Video Games Considered Artistic. Will and I, we have discussions about philosophical things, and what constitutes art. And so my first thought was like, wait, what's the criteria here?
Yeah.
And so it sounds like it's games that have been considered art by commentators and people writing articles.
So it's
about the
based
games.
off of public publications,
Yeah,
basically. Quotes or public statements. So
Anyway, just thought it was interesting. And so the first one listed here is Tempest. So
which is really interesting to me, because you'd think something like, well, when did the original Tempest come out?
81, according to this.
Well, so it was a late bloomer. You'd think something like Centipede
would have been referred to as artistic.
Yeah, exactly.
And they actually reference it here, so there's an actual PBS show of some sort that mentioned it as having a strongly aesthetic experience, comparing it to paintings. So, it's kind of fun. I was just like, wait, are there any Jag games in here? Doesn't look like it. It's a pretty short list, actually, for the pre-2000 games. So, post-2000...
I wonder what they would say if we put up, like, Bubsy, Fractured Furry Tales, as...
We just need
and
to
make a public statement about it.
We just need to have AtariAge publish an article about Flappy McFur, considering it artistic, and we can get it up there.
We can get it up. Let's do it. I'm all for that. Flappy McFur, or what's another good Jaguar game? Supercross.
Club Drive.
We could do that. Club Drive. Yeah, Club Drive's artistic.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. So artistic games. It's cool that Tempest gets up there. I wonder if they would. I'm sure there's. Well, the problem is you get further on into the end of the 20th century, and you get a lot more commentary on games. And so this list, it's like, how do you pass like 1995? How do you even add stuff to this list? Because I'm sure there are commentators and reviewers all over the place calling hundreds of thousands of games artistic.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. A lot of these, like I'm looking, like Okami, yeah, sure, it's cool. Between, sure. Braid, sure. They're all good games, and I'm sure there's quite a few games like, let's see, Shadow of the Colossus isn't on there, but I would consider that an incredibly, especially
Flappy Bird is on the list.
Are you serious? We got to get Flappy McFur in every iteration of that game, every ripoff on there now.
Hey, Proteus and Papers, please. That's interesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I wonder who's catering this or curating this list. I know Wikipedia is an interesting place, especially when it comes to video games, like the Jaguar Wikipedia page. I know there's been some controversy over people editing certain things. Like, I don't look at the page itself, I just watch AtariAge, and I know there's been some comments there where people have been frustrated with what is Homebrew and what's the official list of Jaguar games, because there were still some quote-unquote licensed games that were released after Atari sold off to who was it? Infogrames or whatever, or to that hard drive company.
But
yeah. But anyways, so yeah, Wikipedia is an interesting place for quote unquote facts. So, but of course, whenever you're going to say list of artistic games,
whenever you're touching art,
it's going to be pretty.
They do have the criteria that had to be mentioned as artistic in a published article. I guess that does give it some scope, but even that, like you say, what publishing house, or what at what level, how many readers,
So there was one other thing. Apparently, people are getting their. Where's my Facebook? Lost my Facebook. See if I can find it here again. Oh, let's just go. Facebook.com/JagCorner. Get rid of all that. There we go. View as a visitor. Okay, there's one more thing. And I just forgot. Oh, yeah, Wormhole 2000. So people have been getting their copies of Wormhole 2000. And I think Lee actually posted a picture somewhere. Wormhole. It's probably on this thread right here. Yeah, right there. So to reiterate, if you're going to purchase this game, you're not getting a label and a box and a manual, at least at the beginning. I know right now Pallades, or I can't remember, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. Somebody in the chat could correct me on this. But Pallades, he's doing a box and everything for this. And I don't know if that's going to be a separate sale or if people who have already purchased it, or he's just going to ship them out or something. But it's in this cool green cart, which is awesome.
Label, man.
And here's the other problem. If they're making an official label, do you put the official label over this label? Do you remove this label? As a collector, that's a problem. And this is where I'm going to get into my opinion a little bit, and you're going to agree with this. This is my issue with rushing stuff out to release or not creating a standard for yourself and just sticking to it. Because now people who are collecting have to decide, do I take this label off and then put it on, or do I get a new front shell, another green shell, just the front, unscrew this one, keep this one? There's all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
And this is why... oh yeah, it's Gazty. Thanks, Lee. It's frustrating to me that people don't take a little more time with the packaging. Yes, it doesn't mean much. I know it isn't the game, but you get weird situations like this where people who are collecting, who aren't necessarily playing the game and they want the product to look nice, now have to make these weird decisions on, do we keep the original label, which is this... It's a nice looking stick-on label, but you can tell it was kind of rushed. It was just like, I'm here to sell a game. And that's fine if he wants to do that. If he just wants to sell a game, I just kind of wish he said, no, there's never going to be a box or anything, and just sell the cart and call it a day, instead of this weird situation that collectors have now. So anyways, that's my opinion on rushing stuff out versus creating something that looks nice and selling that. So the game itself looks awesome, Wormhole 2000, so I'm excited to play it. I have a copy coming. Should show up eventually. Lee already has a copy, and I don't. I assume what I mentioned to Lee on Facebook is I assume he's building them and shipping them out as he builds them, and that's why I haven't received my copy yet. He isn't sitting on a stack of them, basically. In fact, he may be waiting now because somebody's making a box for him. So I don't know.
I got JagPOWAH up.
Oh, switch over to yours. Let us know if the audio's fine on that. Clint says, yeah, as a collector, I would never rip apart the old label and just end up getting a new one. But thankfully, I don't collect anymore. Yeah, and that's the other solution, is just don't worry about collecting and just play the game, right? I think that's the way it should work, but some people just want a piece of nice looking plastic and paper on their shelf too. So, anyways, cool.
I don't have my keys.
Is this legal in our state to do this?
I don't know.
We'll find out, huh?
Simulated. What's the default virtual Jaguar?
Okay, so the default ones, so JKL are the buttons, and then up, down, left, right are weird. They're S, Z, X, C.
Here we go. Give me the numbers.
Let me jump on the thread really quick because So C is declare recent drawings, D to draw numbers, and A display recent 5 drawings. These will automatically overlap unless cleared or you changed. So, yeah.
Pricey. I was just actually looking at, pulled up the listing of that copy of Flappy McFur last week on eBay, and there was a related one here. I don't know how common this is, but that seems a little
gosh
to me.
We don't have that one.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I'll ever get 05 and Breakout 2000 is getting really expensive now, and so and those are the last 2 quote unquote official releases, because I think 05 was licensed at some point. It was originally made for the Falcon, and then they did a version for the Jaguar, so I'm not sure if that worked. So Jean-Paul, just curious, have you heard about the Heart of the Alien prototype port on the Jaguar? No, I haven't heard of that. Atari Jaguar Heart of the Alien prototype. Do you have any links or anything, Jean-Paul? I've never heard of Heart of the Alien, and I'm not seeing anything coming up, at least on... Are you just talking about prototypes of AVP? Because those have been around for a while. There's people on Etsy selling them in cart form for ridiculous amounts of money, too, which is stupid. That I feel bad for anybody who's buying those. I put up a link. I've put the link. I'm not seeing a link. Do you see a link?
I don't.
Yeah, if you have a link, shoot that over. We'll check it out here really quick.
I don't remember if...
Heart of the Alien. Are you talking about... Oh, what was it called? Oh, Captain Blood. There was a sequel to Captain Blood on the Atari ST. There was a sequel that they were going to make for the Jaguar. I can't remember what it's called. Captain Blood. Atari Jaguar. Oh, Heart of the Alien. I think that is what that is.
He says it's sequel to Out of This World.
Oh, really?
That's what he just said, yeah. Or Jody Hicks said that.
Heart of the Alien, sequel to Out of This World. Huh. I thought that was Fade to Black.
No, that was sequel to
Flashback?
Flashback, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a sequel planned for that.
new.
It makes sense. I mean, did Heart of the Alien ever come out? At all? Heart of the Alien. What is that, Delphine software?
Yeah. Unless it was
Heart of the Alien, Another World 2. Oh, yeah. Look at that,
Wow.
Sega CD.
We learned something new
Yeah,
today.
I didn't even know that. Oh, I did know this existed.
Did you?
In fact, I have a picture of a tower and everything. Yeah. I've never played it, but I know it existed. Huh. I don't see why that couldn't make it to the Jag, but... of course... So, Another World, for those who were lucky enough to get it, was finally ported to the Jag, and it runs pretty darn well. But again, Flashback, I should have played Flashback between this stream and last stream to see where it was chugging, because I remember there was a part that was like, this is barely running, and it was during gameplay. Like cutscenes, I'm fine if it chugs a little bit, but like gameplay, it should be solid all the time, and it wasn't. So
I beat it. That's beatable.
Sweet. I think it's wiping out your YouTube links, at least on our end. It might be showing up on the stream for everybody else.
Yeah, that might be an option we have to
turn on or
it
something.
Seems like they have some defaults like that.
But,
you can put it on our Twitter, reply to our Twitter. You can get it that way. But
cool. No, I haven't heard anything about that for the Jag, and I'm a little surprised because I know I've spent quite a bit of time looking into canceled ports of games and unreleased games for the Jag, and I haven't seen that. But there were a ton that Atari had lined up apparently on paper that just never started and stuff like that. So there's quite a few. But anyways, cool. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about. I was just gonna scan through the list here really quick. I think we've talked about this Dust Be Gone 2000. I love that. There was a comment on this that was pretty obvious. Oh, this is interesting. I'm in the process of... This is Jody. Hey, Jody. We're featuring your post here. I'm in the process of making an add-on for the Jaguar. Going to install some hinge-sprung dust flaps from a Genesis or SNES. Got lots of sanding and painting left to do. Yeah, and I haven't looked at close-ups on this yet. But... my question is, and you're probably not worried about this, but can you get a Jag CD on there still? Because that might be a problem. Oh, if it's an add-on, though, you might be able to pop it on and off, right? Doesn't look like that's what you're doing here, though. I'm not sure exactly what you're doing, but somebody replied, Mutter Miner, my dust cover is the last game I played, so which makes sense. I mentioned that Atari was probably thinking the same thing, that people... I remember on the NES that people were, I just did a search on that and nothing came up that I saw for Heart of the Alien on the Jaguar. Oh yeah, sequel title right there. That's in reference to the Sega CD. Might be some references. So yeah, it looks like there might be something there. Anyways. But yeah, I just, because I remember when I was a kid, I just left carts. Like in the NES, I always left the cart in, or the Genesis or something like that. And I'm kind of thinking Atari was probably thinking the same thing. It's just like, why do we need flaps for the cartridge slot? Because you can just leave the game there, because most people just leave the game in there anyways. And so it really does make sense. And I was just talking about the aesthetics of the cart itself. I think Jag carts look awesome. They're one of the most unique cartridges out there, and they look even better when they're in a Jaguar console. So anyways, sadly no CD unit will work, but it is removable. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I have a Jag game drive, so hopefully CD functionality will come along someday. Yeah, the thing is about CD functionality with the Jag game drive is I think it will happen simply because there's no good emulation for the CD. And I think people will push for that. And if they push for that, that's kind of a happy in-between of not having CD emulation, but most people not having a CD-ROM drive to actually play CD games. Unfortunately, the Jaguar, there's not a huge incentive to do CD support because there's only, 13 official games?
Yeah,
most,
pretty limited.
Might be even less than that. It might be 8 or 9.
Compared to something like, even the Sega CD, which didn't have a huge library, was still bigger than that, I'm pretty sure.
And with the exception, in terms of exclusives, with the exception of Battlemorph and Hover Strike, there's really no good games on there.
Well, I mean, you have, Myst, but once again...
it's not an exclusive, so why even get it on the Jag?
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair and Space Ace don't make sense. Braindead 13's garbage on the Jag. Like, the video is garbage. It's hard to even play. And then, what else is there? I got pretty much all of them sitting right there. VidGrid. Yeah, everybody wants to play VidGrid, right? So, I enjoy VidGrid. But again, I understand most people would even give it the time of day nowadays. Especially people who are going for... Because most people who are using an SD card reader or something, they don't actually play games. They get them, play the game for some nostalgia for 10 minutes, and then they stop playing again.
Clint says black ice, white noise, right?
Oh, yeah. Gotta have that. And you do gotta have that.
Go get laid by the prostitute.
Yeah, the zebra lady. Yeah.
Oh,
if you can find her. And
awkward.
It's only in one revision. It's like revision 28 or whatever. Yeah, black ice, white noise. It would be cool to see that one finished. It's funny because the guy who owns it, who worked on it, who's selling the soundtrack and the revisions on CD, you can go to his website and purchase all this stuff. He doesn't want to do anything with it anymore except for make money off of these incomplete things. And it's cool that he's doing that he's providing that. Awesome. I think it's awesome he's doing that, but it's like, why not use that money to fund some development? I know it's not a lot of money, but it's something. It's more than the zero that everybody's working on to do anyways. So, anyways. Black Ice White Noise is pretty impressive, though. It's cool that you can walk into all these buildings, you can get on the net, you can buy things. Like, there's a lot there in a prototype.
Cyberpunk era stuff. I've been playing a game, Omikron.
I'm not familiar with
it. They had it on the Dreamcast, and I have the PC version. But the soundtrack was done by David Bowie, and he's one of the characters in the game.
What?
I swear, whoever designed this game was probably involved with Black Ice White Noise in some way. It's weird. It's a crazy game,
dude. The Nomad Soul. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I know the subtitle.
The subtitle.
Huh. Cool. David Bowie was involved.
Yeah, like the soundtrack was all David, and it's weird too. It's funky stuff.
Director David Cage began writing the script in 1994 and signed a publishing deal with Eidos in 1997. David Bowie made the music with Reeves Gabriel.
Yeah, it's some crazy stuff. Look it up sometime.
10 original songs. That's a lot of songs for a relatively unknown game. That's cool. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, let us know if you want us to talk about anything else. Apparently Clint played that for the Dreamcast. Do we have a copy of that?
Not on the Dreamcast. Like I say, I picked up a PC copy.
You have a
for
PC
a few
copy?
bucks not too long ago.
I want to try that out. Huh. Looks weird.
It's an odd one.
Looks weird. Okay, cool. I'm going to paint for a little while, but Bryce is going to do some Lynx games, so be liberal with switching between that, Bryce. And, yeah. I'm not going to watch the chat either, so
I'll try and keep an eye on it here.
I guess I could
my
pull up the chat on the other. I might be able to pull up the chat here.
Alright, so this first one we got, let me start it over. Oh, whoop, not that.
Yeah, I can. No, I can't do the chat. So
Well, we'll start it here. So, alright, so you start a game, yeah, you get one guy, kick the ball in, and then sometimes it does this, I think it's a bug, where it has you do it again. Anyway, then you have, the goal is moved somewhere else, and you have that guy running around, and you have to get to the goal. And then it starts all over. Oh gosh. Get in there! But it only gives you like 5 seconds on each round. If you
That
lose,
looks
that's
fun.
it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
do it again. Oh, so you have that 5-second timer.
Oh, it lets you do multiple goals, I guess, is the idea. There we go. If the timer's still going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, hey.
Oh no! Oh no! You almost want to in the first few rounds to knock it in another
Get it
direction.
in there. Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, just so it's cleared out.
Yeah.
Hey, he keeps taking my ball.
0. That's
Oh.
cool.
Oh
Nice.
gosh.
You got it.
No.
You got it. Go, 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 go.
Get it. Oh. Kick it that way. Oh gosh. Go, go, no. Oh god, no. Alright.
That's fun.
So what you working on there?
So I'm still doing the quote-unquote family portrait for
Oh, yeah.
Audit will be watching.
Oh, wow.
Since the last time, I think I just blocked in the background last time. And now I got the characters. I'm just blocking in just some key values and colors for the characters. But
Thought this was the family portrait.
oh no! Yeah, there's the family portrait.
Oh yeah.
Who's the artist for? What was that for?
This is a book cover for a series of books. I can't remember what they're called. The artist is Michael. Oh come on,
It's really
Michael
cool.
Whalen. And I actually came across this because he did one of the covers for the Isaac Asimov Homecoming. I can't remember. It was one of his series of books.
Yeah.
Foundation. And in fact, I've got that one here as well. And I just thought that was pretty awesome. Right here. Oh, switch back to that. Yeah, this one's cool.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that is
Some
cool.
art. I love sci-fi, 80s sci-fi book cover art. It's good
It's
stuff.
pretty cool stuff.
All right, let's load
I
up
remember,
another ROM here.
The first copy of Dune I read, I think, had a 80s cover on it. Oh wait, no, that was was that Dune or was that Children of Dune? Can't remember. Really cool stuff though. The new covers are kind of boring. They're really minimalist and they're more abstract than they used to be. But
Speaking of minimal, that's the next ROM from the competition here.
minimal. He has some good art for this. Really like it. Who put this one together?
Oh, gosh. Pull that up again.
Minimal. It's that bottom left one.
Minimal was by. Does he have
Should
a
be at the top. Oh, right there.
NOP 90?
Oh. Not 90 coder.
Graph-
And it says OCEO is back.
Yeah, that was in the ROM.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
Anyway,
Always cool to see new Lynx games.
It's got that ZX Spectrum aesthetic,
Yeah, it
low
kinda has
color
that,
sprite stuff going on. Maybe just walk this way. Pretty basic platformer. You got these blocks, some of them you can shoot multiple times to break. I think it's randomly generated. This looks different than the last time I played.
Really?
I could be wrong. I might have just ran through really quick, but go.
I
And you got
was-
these ones with eyes on them you can shoot. Man.
Darn it. I was playing this a couple days ago, I think. and it looks like he just has like level layout and then the mechanics and plays.
It doesn't do a lot. It's just a basic mechanics demo. And
Looks nice though. It'd be cool to see something finished.
yeah, the aesthetic is good.
Because this already beats out a lot of platformers on the Lynx anyways.
Yeah,
Like Viking Child. This game already beats Viking Child.
I don't know. Viking Child wasn't too bad.
It's just
Like,
the difficulty's so...
Todd and Slime World, that was always rough for me.
That
What was
one's
the other
really
one?
interesting.
It's interesting. I don't know. It's like they tried using the Lynx's capabilities too much with all the movement and stuff. I know a lot of people actually praise that. I read an article about the different versions of that game, and that they consider that to be one of the best because of that. But it's just really distracting for me.
Yeah. There's another game, I can't remember what it's called, but it has bubbles, like red bubbles on the Lynx. I can't remember what it's called. It's not as well known. It wasn't an official release. I can't remember, but it has a lot of skewing sprites. It's almost distracting how much is going on that screen because you're only dealing with so much resolution. But anyways.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Just a few blocks you can shoot, and you can jump around levels, and if you get to the edge of the screen, it transitions to a new level. I'm on level -2. I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if that's just a bug. I'm supposed to go the other way or something.
I got to level 4 somehow. I can't remember. I went like all the way to the bottom of one of the levels and then went to the left instead of the right. So, not much sense to the level design right now, but
It's kinda,
yeah, and it looks nice. It scrolls really nice.
yeah, it's smooth.
Like it's really good. My only issue is the jump is really linear, but it kind of feels like a space jump too, so it might be fine.
Yeah, I've not had a problem with it actually.
So
Mobile trouble, huh? Yeah, similar to that.
the only other issue I have with it is you can't pass under blocks, and
Oh yeah,
it
because
does-
your guy's slightly taller than a single block.
I could see that making sense later on, depending on how he designs the mechanics and stuff. But right now it's just kind of annoying that you have to jump over these one tall blocks. But anyways, it's really cool looking. Whoa, you can break blocks?
These blocks. So there's the certain kind. You shoot them 3 times and they break.
I didn't notice that the last time I played it.
Yeah, these ones. They get damaged.
Cool. So he has more in there than I thought. That's awesome. I wonder if there's like a secret boss somewhere. That'd be cool.
We'll find out. Level -5. Or maybe it's just supposed to be a hyphen. Level -5.
So, anybody play some Jag games this week? Oh. Clint? Lee? Jody? Jean-Paul? I played JagPOWAH ball. A little bit. What else? Oh, I've been getting into records a lot more, but I also have my Jag set up right here, and I've been listening to my CD collection a lot more, and so I pop up the VLM and I play the VLM. Let us know what you guys think. You played Cybermorph and Tempest. You know, Cybermorph gets dragged through the mud quite a bit. Its only problem is how repetitive it is. It's just they use the same mission briefs once you get a certain length in the game. And I think they did that to just pad it out because either they didn't have time or something. But mechanically, the game works really, really well. It feels balanced for the most part. It plays just fine. I love the upgrades that you get. Like, it's good.
I know we've discussed this before. It came out at the wrong time, and I know they were trying to compete with Star Fox, but the problem was Star Fox is just a lot more generally fun game to play, just more action oriented. And so they had that uphill battle.
Yeah. Lee, let us know how Wormhole is. I was thinking about maybe doing a live stream if I have an evening that I can do that. Good. Coding is taking up your free time. That's a good thing. So, we want to see more Jag games, Clint. We want to. I was on your website the other day. Can you post? Darn it, you probably can't post your web address. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
I think we can post links.
Yeah, I think
last week I did, I know.
Let me see if I can find your website really quick, Clint. I think... Because how did I stumble upon it? I'm trying to remember how I got to it. Was it on the thread?
Let's get to level -10. See if anything
Where's my monitor? Okay. One of your games was Simone, if I remember right. Okay. So, here's your video. Do you have any links? Risk Games, that's what it is. Let me post that in the chat. So this is Clint's website, Risk Games. Sorry, we're putting you on the spot, Clint. Tell us to stop if it's too much. I was impressed with the website, and I didn't realize you had started so much, but there's so much that isn't done yet, and so I got really excited. Oh yeah, the Jaguar mod jukebox. This was something he released just a year or so ago, and I think he finished this one. No, it's for the Jaguar.
I just saw the links up above.
But he just has some chiptune mod file versions of some popular songs, and it's just a jukebox.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool.
Those compilations, those are cool.
I know we talked about doing just like a screensaver program that just has a bunch of, old 90s style screensavers that's on a cart that you can just put on your Jag and let it play.
Have your flying toasters on the Jag.
Yeah. Somebody did a Nyan Cat demo at one point. So there's already, but then there's Simone, which is it's a memory game. It's just the patterns with colors and stuff like that. But he had some pretty cool packaging going on, which is neat. But it's not finished, and I'm trying to remember what you said here, Clint. Currently working on finishing this game, and have completed the packaging. I enjoy unique manufacturing, but I'm waiting to add. So should be ready before the end of 2018. So we're there, Clint. Do you think that anyone would produce a 3D home game utilizing 3D capabilities of the Jag? I'm not that informed with JagDev. So I don't know the challenges involved. 3D was pretty easy to do on the PS1, but I couldn't convince my fellow developers to look into Jag. So you're dealing...
this experience.
Yeah, so basically, at this point, to do any 3D on the Jag, you need to have some assembler experience. The library we're using, the Removers library, has some tools in it that are undocumented, at least online. They are documented a little bit in code.
It's commentary,
and we've been trying to do something with that for the release of our game, but we've hit a wall, and we're not going to do anything.
The biggest wall is just my lack of knowledge in C, generally, and also my lack of knowledge in 3D engines. This is the first time I'm trying to do it on the Jag. It's probably the worst thing you can do.
And I've tried tackling the math and stuff like that too. It's hard.
It's intense.
It's a whole new level of math. You're getting into trigonometry. You're getting into matrices and stuff like that, and it's a lot of work.
Like throwing polygons up on the screen, like Gurad shaded texture. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out the math behind
going from a single polygon to objects, then to worlds, and then projecting that. And anyways, don't want to get into that too much. So there. It's
actually not a bad idea.
What?
It says go through the checkered flag source code.
Yeah,
that's one thing I haven't done yet.
That is a good point.
Take a look at that.
And eventually, sometime in my lifetime, hopefully, I want to dive into assembler a lot more, so I can do some of the lower level stuff on the Jag. Jody, if you're looking for 3D games, homebrew 3D games, there's it's not a complete game, but Orion, he did a version of Yopaz iStar that was 3D. It was a 3D thing, and I think you could rotate and everything and go between blocks and stuff. What else? Technically, Battlesphere is homebrew, because no, I think they did try to license that, so that could be considered a somewhat licensed game. Gosh, I'm just trying to think. It seems like there have been. Just looking at my shelf here. Gosh, it seems like there was another homebrew game, or somebody did some 3D. I can't remember exactly which one, but I know Orion's dabbled with it. It's just, I hate to say this, you're kind of limited on the Jag with 3D, but at the same time, that shouldn't be an excuse for somebody to make a 3D game. What's that ST game where you're the little upside down pyramid jumping around on the platform?
I can never remember what it's called.
I would love to port that to the Jag, do an actual from the ground up port of that game.
So here's a picture of about as far as we got.
Switch over to there we go. Oh, are we sharing some history? Okay.
Yeah, why not? So this is a model Will had put together, and I got far enough that I could load model data in. It's not perspective at all. It's all just orthographically rendered.
When you say load data, you built the tools to export out of Blender, which is a modern 3D program, so we could actually create C files that we could work with in our engine.
That would link up the UV mapping, the texturing, and all that. So I've got that far. It's when I hit the trig and trying to, really the last hurdle we hit, and I just kind of like, I'm done for now, was figuring out how to kind of make the model an object, a single like struct in C that you can then reference.
Manipulate.
Yeah. And we were just running into weird memory overflow issue. And once again, this comes back to my lack of knowledge on C pointers to arrays, multi-dimensional array stuff, and so I'm just...
And so what it came down to,
of my
like
right now.
I suggested to Bryce start from scratch, just so we can figure out what we're doing wrong. But at the same time, we're like, you know what? We need to finish this game. We've been working on it for like 5 years now. And so it just needs to get done. So I used to be a 3D modeler and world builder and got started on PS1 back in '98. That's awesome.
Cool. That's really cool.
I finally got out of career game dev about 4 years ago. Wow. You were in it for a while, though. Gosh, yeah, clear back in '98 you were doing world building.
Here's that video clip playing out the Z buffer.
Oh, yeah.
So this is fun. Just threw a couple polygons, once again, no perspective going on, but each vertex had a different Z depth. So the ones opposite corner to each other were lower, and the ones opposite on the other corners were higher, and just had it rotating just to show the Z buffering on the Jag. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and the Jag does that all automatically.
Yeah, that's just...
Which is awesome.
Extra
it's all
pixel data
based.
as it's rendering it. Just knows one layer's above the other. So
it's really cool. Not like the PS1 where you had to...
Yeah, there's no Z buffer from my understanding on the at least no pixel Z buffer on the PlayStation. I think you had to
and
go
Jody
with
can
software.
confirm that for us. There was no pixel Z buffer, and so
it's kind of cool. From what I understand, though, it's pretty processor intensive on the Jag, and it's not something you'd realistically want to do, just from a performance standpoint.
Yeah. First game was Die Hard Trilogy 2. I never played that, to be honest, but last game was WWE 2K16, 20-ish years. Wow. Yeah, and I watched, somebody did a video on YouTube that dove into that a lot more, just the differences between like the N64 and the PS1, and a lot of it was that being able to, culling essentially, culling your polygons and doing, they had to create software solutions for that on the PS1 basically. Yeah. So sorting all your polygons. So
which is why you get those weird clipping issues with. Yeah.
Don't play Die Hard Trilogy 2. Okay, I won't waste my time. You know, the only things on the PlayStation I played when I was younger were Final Fantasy games. I had no interest in anything else. I did play like Twisted Metal and stuff like that when people had a copy and stuff. And those were fun games.
It's just in recent years I've actually gone back to PlayStation stuff and actually got into some of the other games outside of like Final Fantasy.
Police. What's that cop game?
Police or Future Cop LAPD.
Oh my goodness.
We had some good times.
We had a cousin that had a copy of that, and we played that one a lot. That was so much fun.
I like to come back to the flight simulator or the fighter simulator one. I mean, they're not really simulators; they're very arcade. Ace Combat.
Ace Combat
2 and 3 are excellent.
I'm just trying to think of what else I played on the PlayStation 1. It just wasn't a whole lot. I was just so into RPGs I didn't want to play anything else.
We'll bring up Asteroid Chasers. Another one of these homebrew ROMs from the competition. This one I haven't actually tried yet, so this is new to me. Select different backgrounds.
Hey Clint, if you're still on here, we're not getting after you for not finishing your games. That wasn't the point. We actually just want to showcase all the work you've been doing. So it's really cool. I follow Clint on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, follow Clint because he's I love what he posts. He posts about his motorcycle. He posts about retro wave stuff and all his Atari stuff. It's really cool. I love his Instagram. One other thing I should mention: YouTube. None of this is sponsored. None of this is I would love to pick up a copy of Simone just for the packaging. The packaging looks awesome.
Some sort of. Did you play this one?
I haven't played this one yet.
Chase. It looks like it's some sort of a strategy simulation. Some laying out.
In the description, it said it was a port of another existing game of some sort. What the crap is going on? Probes are your main work units. They can mine asteroids, but they also can deactivate mine to extend something. Yeah, it's some sort of layout strategy thing.
The goal is to get the most from asteroids. Each asteroid adjacent to the active probe gives 1 point. Asteroid. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. 1 point. Okay. You want to surround them. The music.
Yeah, that music isn't very attractive, is it? I guess it's better than no music. Well, I don't know. Is it that bad?
Okay. A little bit here. You just lay them out.
It's like a fun strategy game. If we can figure it out.
I think it's more of a puzzle game. You're supposed to, as you get pieces, you can place them surrounding the last one you place.
Yeah.
And you're just supposed to try and lay them out in these patterns that give you points.
Huh. It's weird that the screen isn't clearing out.
Yeah, but that may be the emulator too.
Oh, that's possible.
Jesus.
I need to drop these on my SD card and give them a try here. Give my feedback on them. Before. Does anybody know when that competition ends?
The Lynx one?
Yeah.
It ended on the 14th of August.
Well, the entries ended on the 14th.
Gotcha. The actual voting?
Yeah, the voting. So he should have a link. Should say on the itch.io page somewhere.
Voting ends in 23 days. So
23 days. Oh, so quite a while.
got a little bit of time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to drop those on my system.
Make that music
Stop. So, I've made Lynx music before. Because I would love to make Lynx games someday. And there's one program called Chipper. I don't know if you've dabbled with any of that yet. But it runs off of like original Windows .NET framework for all the interface and stuff like that. But it's a tracker for the Lynx. And it emulates the audio pretty darn well. It runs in Wine too. And so, but yeah, I've done one song. Maybe we'll share that one.
The only system I've done music on was the Neo Geo Pocket.
You did music on that?
They had a little tracker utility for it, yeah.
Cool.
I didn't do much, but
yeah,
I just dabbled with it.
Neo Geo. Oh, speaking of Saint, he also has an SD card reader for the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's working on this too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I think it's already out if people are into that. And I'm pretty sure that's the only option out there for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I haven't dug into that, so I don't know for sure. But based on comments and stuff, it doesn't seem like anybody's talked about any other alternatives. Because usually you see that in threads. But
well, this website I was using to play the ROMs is decided not to load, so I'll bring up Mednafen here. Give me a second.
Problem currently has been cases aren't available due to everything going on lately in the world, so it may end up being digital this year and physical next. Should anyone actually want a hard copy? Yeah, this pandemic stuff has really put the kibosh on things. It's annoying. Yeah, just Clint. Obviously, collectors out there are going to want a physical copy, but yeah, if you want to just get the game out digitally, and if you're fine with that, do that. You were talking about, I think on your website, about doing some mini games or something. That may have been on Instagram too. Did you have any mini games in mind other than just the? I might be thinking of one of your other games too. So correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Did you have any other mini games that you were thinking about adding to Simone?
Trying to figure out how to scale this up.
What?
Mednafen.
So you can do F11. We'll make it full screen. Should. In Linux, it does.
Yeah. I mean.
And F.
Alt enter. Full screen's a little wonky on here. It's
Bummer.
different, so need to increase the scale on it. No, whatever. We'll just go with what we got. Oh, I died. You gotta avoid those, I guess. Oh, man. Oh, really? I must have to shoot it or something. Aha. There we go. Oh, it's chugging. Using all the sprites.
I had considered it, but for CD release, I'm constrained as it is as all the images are high res. Oh, sweet. Are you working with Raptor? Because I think they do, if you're not aware already, I think they do have some sort of compression utility. I don't know if it's LZ77 or Z7 or 7Z. Is that what it is? Can't remember. Because with Crescent memories, we're dealing with a lot. They're not high-res images. Most of them are just single, like 320 by 240, around that. And most of them are 8-bit. But like some of our images, we can compress down to like 10% of their original size. And so if you aren't doing any compression, you may want to look into that. It seems like I remember CJ talking about Raptor having some sort of compression routine. And they may not have it implemented for Raptor Basic Plus, which is, yeah, the basic form. So I'm not sure about that. Music sounds a little bit better on that one.
Yeah, it's not as jarring.
Let's see here. Robot is different. He...
Looks like it just keeps going. Maybe
So,
there's an end here.
were there,
Adds more and more enemies each time.
Oh, so it's like an arcade.
So
That's cool how the bullets bounce around. That's awesome. Music kind of sounds like just random. Like, this is a melody.
sounds like something I would have put together.
It's not annoying, right?
No, just unmemorable.
And
right?
I think Carrie, I think that's the guy who did this one. He's one of the, he's the one who's consistently on the Lynx forum. I don't know if he collaborated with anybody on this one. Are you doing damage to the enemies?
Yeah, they just take a lot of shots to kill.
Oh, they do change colors.
Yeah.
When you hit them, okay. Oh, and the spikes do too. I've dabbed with it a little recently, but this was mostly done before. Simone is one of the first games I started. Oh yeah, it was one of the first ones, wasn't it? There was one other. Let's see if I can. Simone. Fish Feast Fury 64. I like the alliteration. That one's great. And I don't remember you posting about this one. Like when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is a surprise to me. And you actually have a video of this one running too. So, looks fun. I like seeing these simpler Jag games. It's cool that people are using Raptor and the Removers library. Seemed like when we started, no one was using Removers back in like 2013.
Yeah.
And Raptor Basic Plus, I don't even think was a thing.
It wasn't.
I think there was something with Raptor out, but it wasn't public. Like they were using it for their own games or something. And so it's cool to see a few engines that aren't assembly code or not completely relying on assembly code anyways coming out. So people who aren't these gurus that have been programming for the last 50, 60 years can actually make some content. Because, well, and if you compare it with other groups like the NES homebrew scene and stuff like that.
Thing.
Oh my goodness!
Like even the 2600 has a basic.
Yeah, you don't even need to know any code anymore. You can just go in and slap a game together and release it, and it's not half bad either. Yeah. And anyways, the NES stuff is really impressive. I know Game Boy has like original Game Boy and Game Boy Color. I think they have a nice creation suite where you don't even need to know any code anymore to do like RPGs and top-down adventure games and stuff like that. They may even be able to do side scrollers now too. Seems like I saw something for that. But
anyway, that's it for that. Let me get this back up.
I'm just seeing what else Clint has here. Cosmic X2K. What is this? Cosmic. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is just like it's like kind of like a screensaver thing, isn't it? Let's see here. Growing up, I've always loved Cosmic Arc on the Atari 2600. I thought I would. Oh no, it's an actual game. I've created the groundwork for a base build that allows for asteroids to randomly shoot at the sides of the ship, and you can shoot them off the screen. Need to implement up-down asteroid counters, added asteroid variety, and actual game progression. Most of the backdrops are completely free use, as well as the laser of the ship to use. Would like to release this for 2019. I'm trying to remember if I saw a video for this at some point, or if it was just screenshots. It's been a while. But anyways, it's cool. I hope to see your games finished, Clint. Aqua screensaver demo. Oh, is this just... Oh, it's your fish game, but just a screensaver. That's cool. That one's ready. Get that one right now. 16-bit images. Sweet. That's awesome. Cool. Are we about there? We did a little bit of painting this time. At least I'm showing the progression here for you guys.
Yeah, there.
So I got things blocking in values. That's my main thing now.
In fairness, let's go through the last couple games I have here. So this one's called Sybil's Run.
So full disclosure, I did help on this game.
Oh, I was wondering about the art.
Yeah.
It's like that looks like Will's art.
So Atari Gamer is working on this one, I believe.
Yeah.
And
AtariGamer.com.
And I'm just gonna pull it up here so I'm looking at it as I comment on it. Yeah. So just the title screen. I did a quick sketch for him, and he ended up using the sketch for his entry. He said he didn't want me to do anything more involved, but to begin with, but then
let me pull that up.
He messaged me a few days before posting it, and I don't get on Facebook as often as I used to, but I'm changing that.
So that's the sketch. I'm like, that looks like Will's, but I guess it could be somebody else.
So I did that artwork. I'm gonna do something more complicated. It'll probably be implemented after the competition at this point, because I don't think you can change your entries once it closes. So, but full disclosure, I did help him on this game. Just for the title artwork. It's not that impressive right now anyways. That's why I'm not too worried about it.
Very simple game. It's just one of these little runner...
Is it just a runner?
Yeah, it just runs along and there's gaps and you just have to clear the gaps, and it looks like it gets more difficult. And there looks like there's an end of the level. I haven't actually got to it yet.
I like the background.
We'll go through one level here.
I like how the buildings are like bent over. Oh, it's getting faster too.
Is it? Probably. That's common. mechanically style games. The one I know is Cannibalt. That's fun.
Is there any sound?
I don't think so. I'm not hearing it. The other ones had some sound going.
Something. The levels are showing sound.
Stage 2.
Huh.
Might be really quiet. I just can't hear it on my speaker here. Anyway, that's it. Looks like it just gets more difficult on each stage. So. Alright, and the last one we had was the Zump, Shoot 'em Up, X 'em Up.
I like this puzzle game. It's pretty good.
Try this one yet.
The artwork's pretty good.
That's fun.
And I guess it's a sequel because I think Songbird is selling the first one.
Scaling. That's fun.
So,
Title.
yeah, somebody's put a lot of work into graphics and stuff here. Pretty impressive.
Animated, no less. That's nice. Oh, I died.
And you died.
Let's actually try this now.
Do it again.
Sure. Oh, I see. Oh, you're supposed to clear the blue blocks.
Yeah, and the blocks do change, so there's little rules, new rules that show up later on. So
Gotcha.
it's pretty good. It's well done. I think it's a pretty much finished game. And again, I think
Whoops, overshot.
time to die. So I think there was a first game that was sold on Songbird or something. Let me check. I think we're done with art for now.
There we go. Top.
Ooh, yeah. So Songbird. I'm just gonna jump over to the shop really quick. It's a fun game though. It's a good puzzle game.
A little end phrases. Yes. That's cool.
I think they change depending on how fast you clear it and how many times you die. Oh yeah, there is a first. So Songbird's selling the first game on their website, and it looks like it's pretty much the same game, except for maybe the artwork's updated. I don't know. Oh, she's crying. I didn't see that one when I played that a few days ago. That's cool. Looks like it's pretty long. Saying enter your name. Oh, somebody's getting after you.
No, just let me know my package showed up.
Oh, cool.
New phone.
New phone. What'd you get?
The new Pixel.
The new Pixel?
4A.
4A?
Yeah.
Sweet.
First phone in 2.5 years.
Well, is that all the games? Rice. You got top scorers.
Yep, that's
Cool. Anyways, yeah, be sure to jump over to itch.io. It's Atari Gamers hosting it, so you should be able to find it there. Or jump on to one of our social media channels. We've been posting all these games. We've been doing posts for each of the games, so they get a little more visibility in the public. But yeah, go over, play the games, review them, give your feedback. It'd be cool to see a Jaguar, or be cool to see a Lynx competition every year. Be cool to see a Jag competition every year. I know somebody on Twitter or Facebook was asking, "Hey, when is the Jag competition going to happen every year?"
Maybe we should host it.
Maybe we should. Once we finish our game,
gotta get that done.
Gotta get the game
Gotta
done. Clint says, "Me too. It's definitely time consuming, and yeah, making games, especially if you're doing it by yourself or with a couple guys, is a lot of time."
Challenges, you get started and you're like, oh, this is easy, and you start working through things, and then you hit that last
5%.
It's true of everything,
Yeah.
last 5%.
It can be grueling.
It's a slog to finish things up.
Yeah.
So, but it's worth it.
It is worth it. We're excited to release our game. We're coming up close. But anyways, back to competitions. I just mentioned that there are a lot more people making games for the Jag now because there are tools available to make games, and so it might not be a bad idea here in the next year or two to start things up on that front in terms of competitions, because you'll see more games, and yes, they won't be 3D games most likely, but you'll get a lot of good 2D games. So it just blows my mind that nobody was using the Removers library 10 years ago.
Yeah,
because it's about that old now, and it's very capable.
It was the only way I was going to get into it, because if I had to start at assembly, it would have
it wouldn't have happened.
I just am not there.
So, and same thing with me.
C was kind of I could
Anyways.
handle that.
Okay, that's it for our stream. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to play Audit. We'll be watching. Yeah, me too. So we're getting there really quick. So my guess is it'll be a release next year. So anyways, thanks for coming. We're going to end it here today, and we will see you next week. I don't think there's anything next weekend, so we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for watching.
See ya.